Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha, Shama Sundar, Radha Shama Sundar, Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Shri Radhe. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Astatara Satsasi Maharaj Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Astatara Satsasi Maharaj Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shyamakund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Shri Mayapur Navadvip Dham Ki Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Ganga Mai Ki, Jamuna Mai Ki, Tulsi Devi Ki, Bhakti Devi Ki, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki, Brihapadanga Transcendental Book Distribution Ki, Shri Radha Shama Sundara Ki, Shri Radha Madhava Ki, Shriman Mahaprabhu Ki, Nitai Gaura Pimanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Yadivadadhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Yadivadadhari. Yasodanandana Brajajanaranjana. Yasodanandana Brajajanaranjana. Jamuna Tiravana Chari. Jamuna Tiravana Chari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Yadivadadhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Yadivadadhari. Yasodanandana Brajajanaranjana. Yasodanandana Brajajanaranjana. Jamuna Tiravana Chari. Jamuna Tiravana Chari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivitakacharya Astatarasata Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Gaur Premanandi.
Welcome, devotees. So this year, America is celebrating a big milestone, 250 years of independence. Who knows from what? And we are also celebrating a huge milestone, 20 years of dependence on the holy name. This is the 20th annual Festival of the Holy Name. So this is a testament to Maharaj's commitment to training us, which we are so very grateful for. And we want to especially also welcome His Grace Govinda Prabhu from Vrindavan.
And Mayapur.
He will transform Naperville into Vrindavan as soon as he starts singing. And to all of you who have come from Cleveland and Mummins and Florida and Texas and Baltimore and New Jersey and all these places, we hope that this feels like a second home for you after all these retreats of being here. Welcome back to your home away from home, to the home of Sri Sri Radha Shyama and to all of our hearts. So, just a few practical announcements. Kids, there's kids activities downstairs from 6:30 to 8 in the Prasadam Hall. And our deity schedule has changed for those who are visiting. The curtain is now closed from 6:30 to 7:30, and then it opens for an hour from 7:30 to 8:30. So Maharaj's class is entitled Entering the Mood of the Retreat, and it'll be followed by dinner at 8 o'clock.
Short and sweet. 20th. Well, this screen and that screen show the same thing, depending on where you're sitting and which way you like to look. This is an overview of what we're going to be doing together. Starting this evening. Entering the mood, that's the title. The step of acceptance, the step of service, and then illuminations before our 64-round day. So I'd like to begin now a little, there are a couple of places in each of the presentations where there's embedded sound, and one of these is a song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur from his writings on Sharanagati. You'll get a printed copy because it's nice, but you won't have it in your hand because you'll be distracted. So I'll give you a printed copy later after class. Entering the mood. That little guy walking in the middle of giant sequoia trees. That's like us looking for Krishna in some place where we're going to find him in a forest. Entering the mood. Here's steps leading to Radha Krishna with this nice young fellow with japa beads in his hand, looking for Radha Krishna, entering the mood. One of the procedures in japa retreats commonly is to engage the devotees in contemplating their sankalpa. It's commonly called the sankalpa exercise. What is it you hope to achieve? What is the intention in your participation in this event, this japa retreat? Or another way of saying the same thing is, why are you here? What's the intention behind being here? And one consideration, improve our japa, have nice kirtan, nice prasadam, some of the usual things. We're here to become closer to the personality of God and Krishna. Boiled down, or in essence, response. So there's several parts in this whole presentation, all 5 parts. It the advocacy of hit the reset button, meaning whatever you've been doing or think of yourself, etc., etc., pause and begin once again. The person who's seeking, let's say, a closer relationship with Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead. He came to see Prabhupada, so he was, anyway, there was a beginning. And it was really exciting because it was, wow. And then, for a number of years, day after day after day after day. So when we first began, there was a certain anticipation of what's it going to be like and making advancements and becoming closer to Krishna. And then so many days, so many weeks, so many months, so many years later, is that same enthusiasm there. So the mood of a seeker is that initial enthusiasm, chat like it's your very first time, and there's no limit to what that experience can be like. So in anticipation of all of this, I happened to be with my sister. One of my older sisters lives in Carmel Valley, California. And it's funny because Carmel Valley is up on a mountain, but down below there's a big valley. So when visiting her, she wanted to give me a gift. I wanted to give her some gifts. We spent some time discussing. And she understood that was a gift to her. The gift that she wanted to give to me was a photograph because by profession, she was a photographer, but not just, a commercial photographer. She's an artistic type of personality. So the gift that she gave me, I didn't take it as a printed copy. It was a photograph she had taken long ago. I'll show you the photograph of a moth. That's a moth that was floating on a stream, very clear stream up in the mountains somewhere, because her husband liked hiking and she liked photography, so she took a photograph of a moth that was floating because she had died, and the reflection of the moth on the rock below is what you could see. You could see the floating moth. You couldn't see the water because it was pure. And that was her gift. I'll show you the photograph in a moment. So thinking about the moth, I was thinking about something that we heard, you will become a moth, from Madhu Samhita. So don't be jealous. It's not a nice situation. So this meditation was as I was preparing, because she was asking, what's your life like? So during this period of time, when I was on the West Coast with my sister and doing other things on the West Coast, I came across this nice song poem from Bhaktivinoda Thakur from his Sharanagati series, and the concluding verse or poem or song is he entitles the holy name. So I really liked it, and I hope you're going to like it, and you'll get a copy so you can like it more as the days go by. And then afterwards also, if you like it, it's very nice. And I became inspired and asked Sri Radhika, because she's a good narrator, could she narrate this? And she's creative, so she came up with a little presentation. It's just dramatic reading of the last song of Sharanagati, which is from Sri Nama Mahatmya. It fits with what we're doing. So here's the recording. I hope it works. Oh, come on. We're going back. That's not nice. What?
TV, change it to TV.
We should have done a sound check.
And not one or two, but
Oh, come on.
my heart
Look better.
is like a desert, hot with the rays of the sun. This is my internal mental condition. The desire for temporary material things cannot satisfy me because by nature they're death-producing.
We're going to adjust it again.
Bring the microphone.
The script at the bottom doesn't need to show. What are you going to do? For what reason?
Here, we're going to put it here. That's the one, first one.
There's recordings in each of these presentations, so we have to get it straight.
One or two,
Can we
but
get rid of the script at the
thousands
bottom?
of such death.
Turn it off. Oh, come on. Oh, this is terrible.
My heart is like a desert, hot with the rays of the sun. This is my internal mental condition. The desire for temporary material things cannot satisfy me because by nature they're death-producing. And not one or two, but thousands of such death-producing desires have taken shelter in my mind. So, my subconscious region is always burning. This is my condition. But somehow, by the grace of Sadhu and my Guru, the holy name of Krishna, with its infinite prospect, has entered through the holes of my ears and reached the plane of my heart. And there, with some peculiar hope, with infinite auspicious possibilities, it touched my heart with a new kind of nectar. New hope is aroused by that sound. Then, by force it comes from the heart toward the tongue. Not by the endeavor of my tongue I am producing that sound. What came from the heart of a saint through my ear entered my heart, and that forcibly appeared on my tongue and began to dance. That is the holy name proper. It descends from above. The material tongue cannot produce it. Its source is above. And through an agent of the Absolute, it comes through the ear to the heart. From the heart, it gathers some sympathy. Then, the holy name of Krishna forcibly appears upon the tongue and begins to dance. With great force, that sweet sound comes to the tip of the tongue and begins to dance. The real effects of the divine name have been described here. If it is a real living name, the voice will be choked up. There will be shivering in the body. And sometimes tears will flow in a current on the body. One's hair will stand on end. And sometimes the body, the material mind and consciousness will fade away, and we may fall in a swoon. The whole body and mind will appear as if it is being attacked, shivering and influenced in many ways. Apparently, it may seem that so many troubles are created in the body and mind, but the real heart is overflowing with a particular kind of strange, sweet juice. Sometimes the devotee thinks, I am swimming in an ocean of nectar. My whole existence is submerged in an ocean of nectarian rasa. I am beside myself and cannot understand where I am. What is this? What is surrounding me? Am I going mad? Where is my past experience? My seriousness? My gravity? Where are they? I have been completely converted by a foreign element. I am a doll in the hands of a great force, which is so affectionate to me. I cannot ascertain how it is possible that by my faith I have entered this great unknown environment, and at last I find that I'm captivated. My entire being, within and without, has been captured and controlled by an especially sweet force. It is beyond description. I came to take shelter of him and accept him as my guardian. But now, at his hands, I'm being dealt with in such a merciless and oppressive way. Still, I feel everything is very pleasing beyond my experience. I cannot resist anymore. I'm fully captured. So let my faith go anywhere, because I cannot escape. I'm captive in the hand of a sweet, loving friend. All my independence is gone, and I have no other choice but surrender. I find that he is an autocrat. He does whatever he wants. Since it is not possible for me to resist, I must surrender. No, I will cooperate and do whatever he wants. Meanwhile, I find that the holy name is like a blossoming flower, emanating wonderful sweet streams. The holy name contains so many sweet variegated forms of current within him. In different ways, he's expressing himself. Sometimes he shows a peculiar type of color and form, and then disappears. So many charming aspects are revealed within as he forces me to surrender at the base of that altar. He shows himself in a full-fledged form as he leads to Vrindavan to witness his Vrajalila with Radha. I find myself in the midst of his uniquely sweet and loving abode. He says, "You see, I have so many wonderful things, and this is your home." I am not imagination, but concrete reality. You will find that this environment is very sweet and favorable, and you should live here. I see that he's exchanging a variety of loving rasas with his many devotees. And I find that a spiritual body has emerged from my previous one, and that I have a permanent place here in his service. Such a new life I find here, that all considerations of my past life and experience has vanished. What he says is true. My real life is here, and my previous material life was a waste. Now, I find that chanting the holy name gives me a new hope, a new prospect, and new encouragement. The name supplies whatever we want. All our internal hankerings will be fulfilled if we chant the name. The holy name is eternal, full of ecstasy, and it is the purest of the pure. I find I have been completely converted, and now my innermost hankering is this: let whatever is against this sweet name vanish forever from the world. Everyone should come here. I'm ready to sacrifice my life to finish any opposition, so that everyone can easily, peacefully, and fearlessly enjoy this absolute, sweet, and blissful life.
Copies of the text will be provided for you later. I thought having it now, people would be distracted. But you'll have it for referring to later. And depending on how attentive you were, tomorrow morning's class, there'll be some text from Bhaktisiddhanta using slightly different language, but saying very much the same stages of entering into the holy name, etc. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was very much revered by Bhaktisiddhanta. There's ample evidence. He had such high regard for his spiritual master and from his father, who was guiding him in his spiritual life. So that's all preliminary. Now we're ready to take off. This is fasten your seatbelt time. And in entering into this japa retreat or any new experience, you never know exactly what's going to happen, but that's part of the adventure. Be open that whatever Krishna might do. So each of us is going to have a different journey. That's to be expected, and the script writer is Krishna. We're in a relationship with him, striving from our side to enter more deeply into that relationship. And be attentive as you go along, because it's quite some time, all the time spent together, including our 64 round day, but just the time spent together and all of what we're going to be doing together. There is opportunity for Krishna to reveal things and our hearts to become transformed. This is year number 20 that I've lost track, 20 years. And from time to time, devotees remind me, in such and such a year, you spoke such and such, or we did such and such, something. All of those, my mind, it becomes a blur. The details of all those things, but the experience, just like sitting here today with many devotees from many different locations coming together, we really don't know what's going to happen, and that's part of the adventure. He's the controller. Brahmanya Sarvabhutani Yantra Brodani Mayaya. We're ready for whatever Krishna wants to take us in this experiment or experience. Commonly, a number of devotees expressed that they've been preparing themselves and anticipating this event, and that anticipation and preparation is part of having a transforming experience, or transformative experience. And whatever you have done or haven't done is okay. The clock is beginning. We're together, and make the most of this opportunity. Commitment of time together. The commitment is to Krishna, to restore our broken relationship. And that breaking of the relationship is something from our side. So it's an opportunity, one of the many opportunities to repair that broken relationship with a very special person. $20 years worth. Wow. Here's a nice quote taken from Mangalacharana section of a book by Gopal Bhatta Goswami. This humility feature is coming out strongly. It's not proper for me to write my own name as the compiler of this book, as others would do, for I fear becoming bewildered by false ego. As the Bhagavad Gita 3:27 states, Ahankara vibudhatma kartaham iti manyate. Those who are bewildered by the false ego think themselves the doer. But by the order of saintly devotees of the Sampradaya, I'm obliged to write my name as Gopal Bhatta. This spirit soul, having tasted the nectar of service to the lotus feet of Sri Krishna Chaitanya, always follows the instructions of the devotees. So this is his book, Shatkarya Saradipika, Vaishnavas. This is it's a how-to manual, kind of like what Haribhakta Vilas says. And this is from the purport of his Mangalacharana verse. So with humility, let us begin. And one of the teachings here in his writing is, don't be in the doer consciousness, doing japa or taking up this retreat activity in a doership mentality, but a receiver mentality. We have service to render, knowing the pernicious nature of ahankara. We must follow the footsteps of Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Be careful to avoid the contaminating and debilitating nature of thinking ourselves to be the doer. I mean, it's easy. It's like drinking water or brushing your teeth or something that it's just part of something that you do all the time. The doership mentality. Doership mentality is pervasive. And the Super Soul helps us become conditioned by that doership mentality, because that's what we want. We want to enjoy. And contaminated consciousness keeps us covered like that. And we're doing like that. Here's an important lesson. In the schedule, there's some service time. And one of the reasons for service time is there's going to be a lot of people here and there's a lot of service to be done. So volunteers will be very welcomed in the pot sink area, or cleaning up after prasadam or something. Lots of service. And one of the difficulties with the lots of service that some of us experience is the impetus for service arises from japa, but sometimes we become so absorbed in our service we neglect japa. We're inspired to chant japa. Japa inspires practical service. We get attached to doing service and lose track of the inspiration that brought about the doing service spirit. It's easy to slip into that kind of activity. Easy. There is a mode of service, that's the service to the holy name. And to be a good example in the company of others. So, opportunities will be presented in the schedule and whenever, however, wherever. Volunteer service, but while doing, beware of the doership and getting distracted from our purpose in being here. This class number 3 has this as the theme, the service mood. So we'll touch upon this more. As we all know, philosophically and practically, there's coverings of the soul, and coverings are going to impact, complaints, hunger, sleep deprivation, practical responsibilities. Busy people do busy things, and we're intentionally taking some time to step back from much of that, not all of that, but much of that, and the mindset certainly, and avoid distractions. There are different public speakers, and different public speakers have different ways of dealing with this numero uno distraction. Hari Parsha Prabhu it makes it very funny the way he tells about it in Sanskrit. But it's a primary distraction, and it's troublesome when I'll say from the position of a speaker, and looking when people are getting bored or distracted, they reach for their phone. And they start doing stuff with their phone, whatever the stuff is. Sometimes they're taking notes, and that's nice. And most of the time they're not taking notes, and that's not nice. It's just distraction. So if you find yourself getting distracted, catch yourself and pulling yourself back. Chanting japa with attachments to the temporary. This is an image that I used long ago. Somebody brought it to my attention, they liked it, so I found it again. We're trying the butterfly tried to take off, and there's a string tying us to our attachments. So I like visuals. Rather, the goal of chanting, of course, the goal of any devotional activity is anartha nivritti, but the purpose isn't to become anartha conscious, but become Krishna conscious. But as we try to focus, we'll see unwanted things. For example, how my relationships are superficial, or I approaching Krishna not for that deepening my relationship with him, but so I can just get relief from the difficulties of material existence, and other impure motivations and inactivity, helplessly driven by envy, lust. So this envy topic is something that we discussed in the respect as the antidote for envy. This whole seminar on that topic conducted in Gita Nagari. Instead, so this is just, all of this are just little sound bites or reminders of why we're here and how to approach what we're doing together. And tomorrow morning we'll begin the actual, the application message. But these are principles. Tamasi ma. Give up the mode of ignorance. Go back to Godhead. Jyotirgama. Exactly that phrase is where Prabhupada's Back to Godhead magazine title came from. On the one hand, it's good to be regulated. On the other hand, there's some habits that we do that are not beneficial. So make an attempt, focused attempt while we're together, particularly this weekend, because this is a transformation weekend, ideally, to those things that are just distractions and bad habits and whatever, don't indulge. Become comfortable being uncomfortable. This topic of transition, the liminal space topic, Satchidananda Swami's, one of his favorite topics is that phrase. Transitioning from where we are to where we want to go, there's a space in between. And, it's uncomfortable moving from where you are to where you want to be. Like moving from dependent to independent is called teenage life. It's uncomfortable. It's just part of the territory. So become comfortable getting uncomfortable, or going and transitioning from where we've been to where we want to go. Mechanical chanting to chanting from the heart. There's a nice phrase in Bhagavad Gita, Vivikta Desha Sevatvam, from chapter 13, Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada writes in the purport about this phrase, one may test himself by seeing how far he is inclined to live in a solitary place without unwanted association. So test yourself. Unwanted, so the habits and things and tendencies and just space fillers and stuff that we do that's not progressive. But we do with some regularity because we're conditioned souls. So leaving that aside and be happy being with Krishna. And as you're hearing, there'll be points that are being brought up, not only by me, other speakers and other sharings and other messages. What are the persons have prepared, as I have prepared, how to share with others, and then take those messages, discuss with others, reflect on them. At the end, take notes, and introspect, take those messages within. We're not in the best of locations for going for walks, but going for walks is sometimes very helpful. Just like get out of the four walls and just free thinking over what's really important, what have I heard, what's meaningful, how can I apply myself better now or today or tomorrow morning, or in the process of this transformative time. Here's a very nice painting. It's an artificial intelligence creation, but it's Chatak Parvat on the right side. That's a hill, sand dune on the shore of Jagannath Puri. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw the sand dune, Chatak Parvat, and he thought, because he was seeing Krishna everywhere, there's Govardhan Hill. And he started running, and the devotees were following behind him. He was just going to the sea to take his bath in the sea, and he saw this Chatak Parvat. So with that kind of spiritual enthusiasm towards the goal that you wish to achieve, because you've asked yourself question, thoughtfully, why are you here? What is the sankalpa? What is that purpose that you wish to achieve by being here? Feeling closer in your relationship with Krishna. Yeah. So there's enthusiasm on the one side and humility on the other side. So it's not quite go and stop. Rather, seeing the harmony, not exactly balanced, but the harmonizing of these two different qualities. So that's a theme I wanted to present at the beginning here. And we have nice association. Maybe you've seen this picture before. This is the Henry Street Temple in Brooklyn. Just the structure of the Henry Street Temple in Brooklyn was, it was a rented building, and it was a double brownstone building. Brownstone means that's the cladding on the outside was brownstone. And the temple room was on the first floor, and the mirror other side was Prabhupada's quarters. I mean, Prabhupada's quarters was as big as the temple room. So this is where we're seated, is on the Prabhupada's quarters side, or the other, where the temple room was from the other side. And there's a drama. Different devotees were very, very, Prajapati was a very gifted dramatist, so they're putting on a drama for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada. And he's enjoying the drama. And we are also, we're enjoying, Prabhupada's enjoying. Through association, we can get spiritual encouragement and nourishment. Avoid the distraction kind of unnecessary conversation as far as possible. No prachalpa. And when you have discussions, move the discussion to lessons learned, what did you learn, what inspired you, and what touched your heart, and then vice versa. That's, sadhu sangha kind of activity. And similarly, when there's service time, I'm mentioning it several times because it's in our schedule, because in the past years we found the people that are, the devotees that are organizing this event, they need help in the kitchen, in the pot room, and there's the cleaning and this thing and thatting. So some volunteers, some service, and while volunteering for service, keep mindful of the purpose while we're here. And when chanting together, try to tune into the inspiration, the concentration, the quality of the devotees and their chanting. Okay. Finally, this is a verse from Canto 11, Chapter 3. Prasparanu katanam pavanam Bhagavat Yashaha Mito Ratir Mitastastir Nivritir Mita Atmanaha. One should learn how to relate with persons on the path of self-realization by gathering with them to inquire and discover that which is beyond material perception. It's a nice verse. As such spiritualists develop their loving friendship, they feel mutual happiness and satisfaction, and by thus encouraging one another, they are able to give up sense gratification, along with related impediments, which is the cause of suffering, all suffering. So, good instructions for us. Seek transformation like a caterpillar becomes a butterfly. Who knows what's going to become of us if we let go of our material attachments. In the presence of the deity in the temple room, sanctity, focus on our activities of chanting when we're together like this. Children are nice, but they have another place besides being with us during japa in the temple room. So here's this message. Now, it says here that there's a card that's going to be provided to you. Do we have cards provided? I beg your pardon? It's already been distributed. Okay, you have one. It's pretty small. You have 2 of them. Congratulations. This is Jamuna Jivana's idea, so he's got lots of cards. Ladies have? You're getting, okay, okay. The idea is, you know, some outstanding points, inspiration, something, something, make note. And then as we go along, we're going to add to this, you know, specific exercise of topics that you may want to prioritize and give highlight with special attention to. $7:20, not bad. Let's see if there's some discussion. Now this is an introduction session. Wow, that was quick. Do we have a microphone system? Look at this. There is one.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Listening to the poem by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, it's really beautiful, but it no buts, but and listening to it, and it seems that he receives the holy name from the sadhu, and then automatically there's ruchi. There's
not automatically, there's steps.
Yet I find, again, when we're chanting, that we know in theory, at least for me in theory, that it's not us doing it. Like, it's Nam Prabhu working through us, dancing on our tongue, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur puts it. But often it feels like I'm the doer, I'm making the syllables, I'm controlling the mind. So rather it's the opposite. So how do I switch my mindset, or how do I allow Nam Prabhu to take over in ways
someone brought this to my attention. As elevated as Bhaktivinoda Thakur was, he didn't receive Harinam, he didn't receive Diksha till later in his life. I can't remember the year. Does anybody here know what year it was that he received Diksha? I forget. How old was he? I'll find it. And just before he received Diksha, he was eating meat, which was a shocker. So we discussed this with the person who brought it to my attention. Very quickly, he became, so what he's describing in this song is a very quickly procedure, which isn't our normal procedure. No, it's this, in his ear came the sound. The sound went from his ear to his heart, and then from his heart to his tongue. So that was moving his tongue is what was in his heart. So back to your question, how do we get the holy name, to the degree that we can get the holy name to enter in the same as Rupa Goswami's teaching, by the way, from the ear to the heart. Exactly. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is writing according to the teaching of Rupa Goswami, from the ear to the heart. And then the holy name from the heart, it dances in the tongue. And the mind becomes stunned and inert. So the answer to your question, the response to your question is the quality of our hearing. And if we don't have quality hearing, it's not going to happen the way that he's describing, or the way that Rupa Goswami described is not going to happen. And we're still in the doer mentality. And to get out of that, it's a quality of hearing. It's the quality of hearing. Bhaktisiddhanta's teaching is the same, that our acharyas are consistent in their teaching, but we're consistent in our behaviors of not receiving. And therefore it's the struggle with the mind and all those things. The lesson is the ear conquers the mind. The ear conquers the heart, which conquers the mind. The mind, allowing with eagerness, the proper transmitter, the proper receiver, an eagerness to receive the holy name through the ear, and then it entering into the heart. So that's the procedure for those that are successful in the chanting of the holy name. There's certainly descriptions that the quality of chanting can go higher and 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 higher. The quality of chanting, everything is there, and that's not our experience. We don't disagree with it, but it's not our experience. So how does it become one's experience, which is what you're asking? It's a very swift transition. The name is dancing on my tongue. That's our teachings of our Goswamis, the teaching of Lord Chaitanya, etc., etc. And we're in the other zone. Kartaham. And that image of the butterfly trying to fly, but he's got a string tied to a rock and he's not able to fly. So we're flapping our wings. We're not experiencing. So then that's the why and what to do. So the emphasis on hearing. Someone else behind you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu Maharaj, Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. So first of all, I would say that I really loved the presentation and the visuals on it. Thanks for bringing us up, and it's my first time attending this festival of holy names. So I'm looking forward to everything so beautiful here. So I have a very basic question, Maharajji. and it may sound funny as well, so people can laugh if they want to. But so, when I'm starting japa these days, and I think this is why I'm here to learn more about it. Sometimes when I'm really doing the japa, one of the distractions I get is the counting of the beads. Like, even counting beads sometimes is like, I have to remember that I have to do that, and sometimes I forget 1 or 2 beads when I feel like, I'm in the right time where like I have to really think about I have to move the beads. So I'm not sure whether it's funny, but how will that happen automatically, Maharaji?
Well, as you were speaking, drop the microphone. Yeah. As you were speaking, I was thinking about what we just heard. And as you were speaking about doing. And what we just heard is, as long as the doership mentality is there, we're not going to experience. Now your question went to the beads, but it's part of the doership. Miracle counting is not the essence. We have a procedure, and that's the beads and move the beads. But it's a procedure, it's not the essence. The essence is the essence, name, and the relationship with the person who is being named. And so through the medium of the name. I don't know if that helps you. I didn't find what you said was so funny. It was just quite common. Shri Shri Radha Shama Sundara Ki Jai. Go ahead. Anyone else? Yeah, there she is.
All right, I'm not great with microphones.
That's okay.
So thank you, Maharaj, for your talk. So as we think about the relationship that we're trying to cultivate with Krishna, it's my understanding that there are 5, I believe, different types of relationships that one can enter into. How do we know
Which is ours?
which is ours? And is it always eternal, or does it vary based on our emotional state? So
Solely on the spiritual platform. And what we find in this realm is a reflection, but not just a reflection, a perverted reflection of as above, so below. So this is, it's immature, or a guardian or someone who's going to pick me up. When I go like this, he's going to pick me up and embrace me, and etc. So as those worldly emotions arise, which are quite natural, they're human, the primary rasas is something which is ours. There's 2 parts. Some affection for Krishna in the transcendental way, like this. Is it possible it can become from this to that? I mean, he had some language that went with it, and Prabhupada said his answer was for him. So my regard, yours on the spiritual platform, having a regard for Krishna, can modify from time to time and circumstance to circumstance. It is quite dynamic because it's not material, it's spiritual. So that's the second part of your question. It's dynamic. But at this stage, back to the preamble of your question, all living entities, Lord Chaitanya's teaching, all living entities by constitution are Krishna's eternal servants. So my recommendation for you and for me He's the master, we're the servant, whatever he wants, let me align with my wants with his wants. And you get that alignment together, and then covering, not much. Rupa Goswami gave a very nice definition of what bhakti is. And the operative part of what bhakti is Krishna should be pleased. Anukoyena Krishna Anushilanam. Let me mold my shilana, my conduct, my activities, my everything towards Krishna's pleasure. Same, just different language. That's bhakti. And so cultivate bhakti and meet him through the chanting of the holy name, so let Krishna be pleased. And then the relationship with Krishna is that Krishna should be pleased. And entering into that mood while calling his name. And then further and further and further, coverings removed, and my real self emerges from the covering. That's the butterfly, from caterpillar to butterfly example, transformation. Let it begin. Anyone else? Okay, we're going to end, looks like. Bangsidari, where are those?
Unaware, there's a beautiful McDowell Forest Preserve just down the street. It's not even 0.5 miles away. I just thought I would mention that since Maharaj said we can take walks. For those of you who have not yet registered, please register with Amrita Keli Dasi. She's in the Prasadam Hall downstairs. Also, I just sent out the service sign-up sheet in the WhatsApp group. If you have not accessed it before, there's lots of need for hands on board to make this event successful. So please sign up. We need 3 devotees to help with cooking lunch tomorrow. The service starts at 10 a.m.
Your voice is too soft and the voice is out there loud.